All right. I think we're basically ready to go.
Awesome.
So, yeah, everyone that's here, welcome on in to the Hollow Knight 4 Mask Shards 1.4 plus NMG live time attack event. So, this is an event where 5 runners today will be going for will be basically grinding for fast times for 2 hour time slot that they're allotted, and if you use exclamation mark LTA, you'll see what a lifetime attack is, but it's basically each runner just goes for basically PB attempts and tries to get the fastest time within, like I said, the 2 hours allotted today. Runners can start runs, they can reset runs whenever, they can take breaks if they want. But just know that that time, even on the breaks, even on the resets, those do deduct from that 2 hours. So it should be this should be a blast. And as well, anyone that is doing a run at that 2 hour ending, at the end of the 2 hours, anyone that is in the middle of a run may finish out that run. So it's gonna be great watching that. It's a game of being good at the game, but it's also a game of strategy where you decide where you reset, where you keep going on runs, and as you get closer to the end, whether you go for a safety strats or a slower time and finishing a run rather than going for really, really fast times and potentially risky strats.
Going to be very exciting to see what choices the runners make as they try to get a PB or lowest time possible, at least. Um, this event is particularly interesting because we get to see 4 Mask Shards actually shine quite a bit because this is such a optimized run that even when we have races and tournaments and such, um, this is just a wonderful opportunity to see how it is run by racers.
Mm-hmm. It's not very often that you see 4 mass charts in a like super serious. I mean, I say super serious
Yeah.
as if it's not just a community event, but in a situation like this where you're always either basically going for PB attempts on your own stream on your own time, or it's a one-off race and you're going to be taking all the safeties just so
Right,
that you can finish a
exactly.
run. And
Yeah, this is a wonderful
yeah.
way to showcase the category and what it's capable of for sure.
Okay. I think we're basically ready to go. Just give it a couple more seconds, and we'll start counting the runners down.
This will be very exciting.
Yep.
But yes,
Okay.
we have 5 very talented runners today. Um, Slorent, Thundar, Mr. Sir, Marcus, and Masso. Um, all of these runners have very good times. They're all sub 8, 740s even. Uh, uh, most of these runners are in the top of the leaderboard. The world record for this category on latest patch is 744, and Slorent is in second place with a 745. And most of these runners again are within 5 seconds of that time. So this is very exciting. That if we do see a PB, it is very likely to be world record. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Are they going?
About to go. Yep.
Awesome.
There we go. And the 2 hours have started. So, okay. Can get that timer in the middle moving for that. There we go. 2 hours from now, uh, if it'll go anything past the hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. I'll give him a little bit of free time here.
The
It's
runners get
yeah,
extra time to get through these cutscenes.
extra time to get through the cutscenes. It's interesting looking at even the leaderboards right now. Because these 5 runners right now on the leaderboards are second, third, fifth, sixth, and seventh place, I believe. So And
Yes.
every single one of them has at least a 7-4x,
Yes.
and it'll be interesting to see what where they decide to go for fast strats, where they decide to go for safeties, and how that changes across the 2 hours, or maybe if anyone even gets a personal best.
Yes. And it's also interesting how so many of these runners essentially have a lot of different backgrounds. We have runners here who run primarily memes. We have runners that essentially focus a lot of their time on 4 Mask Shards. Um, we have randoers that are used to the dashless movement. And we have Marcus who runs mainly 1-2-1. So it's a very interesting spread of people coming from very different Hollow Knight backgrounds, which all of which will be able to help them. And even watching them practice, it's been very interesting to see what different ways they all approach this category.
It's so much fun. Even just watching practice on streams, it's very it's very fun watching
It is.
people that are good at this game
Yes.
do things. And
Especially dashless movement. It is so hard for me to fathom how well these runners can perform these dashless movements and tricks.
there's a certain charm to dashless movement that you don't get with dash movement, because you don't you're walking for quite a bit of it, but also you have to be very, very quick on the vertical movement, on the jumps, on the falls, on the inventory drops even.
Yeah, and I know at least a couple of our runners are running on 1432 instead of on 1.5. I don't know who exactly is running which patch.
Mhm.
But the ones that are running 1432 opt to do that for a little bit of safety because you're able to cancel a little bit of your stagger when you take a hard fall on 1432 if you spam inventory that you can't do on 1.5. So I
Yeah.
know Mr. Sir is doing that, and it's a wonderful safety that'll give him a little bit of, and any of the runners on 1432, a bit of an edge in case they're not doing everything like perfectly optimally every single hard fall.
Yeah, and we are seeing a reset from Mazzo in the bottom right here. First reset of today.
And looks like Solorant is resetting as well, while
Mm-hmm.
the others are facing Moloch. Moloch is
Yeah.
the main
Okay.
boss of 4 Mask Shards.
Yeah.
Um,
Thunder taking a death there.
ooh, yep. Moloch is the main boss of 4 Mask Shards. It is the runners have to skip on the spikes to get in there, and it is a fairly predictable fight because Moloch will spew, spew infection and slash at certain moments that the runners can avoid and stay close to get nail slashes. But sometimes you can still get hit by goop or run into Moloch, and it can be a little difficult, and a lot of runners can face deaths to it, especially with this low of equipment and everything. Especially if you're trying to be fast too.
Especially if you're trying to be fast. Right now we have, looks like Marcus and Mr. Sir on runs past Moloch,
And Mark
past the
is
20-minute
showing off
mark.
another notable thing about this category because you're mainly going through Crossroads. There's a lot less like save and quits than there is in your typical Hollow Knight category, and so instead we have these moments of hazard respawns because there's a few grubs that we have to collect to get the Grubfather Mask Shard, where you can dunk into a hazard and respawn at the front of the room. That saves you the time to get back. And the first one is Acid Grub, and later there is Spike Pogo Grub. You do the same thing.
Yeah. Like Nick said, it's a this category is entirely in Crossroads. There's exactly 4 Mask Shards that you can get without leaving the first few areas of the game, and all of Crossroads is pretty close together. You won't
Yes.
ever see you will see a couple save and quits, but not super a lot, because there's just not very many benches that you can take to save and quit.
Yeah, the only save and quits are to collect once you collect the last grub, you can save and quit to get closer to Grubfather, and then you save and quit after Grubfather to buy the last mask shard from Sly. Another great thing about this category, along with it being in one singular area, is that the runners do not have to worry about geo. We need 150 geo to purchase the final Mask Shard from Sly. And in order to save Sly, we need to kill Gruzmother, which drops 50 geo, and also collect the Mask Shard from Grubfather, which gives 100 geo. So with that, the 150 is accounted for, so the runners don't have to worry about incidental geo throughout the entire course of this run.
It's very nice how the geo works out because you get exactly enough for what you need, and we have
It's
Mr.
very
Sir taking pretty
satisfying.
pretty late death, and now I think Marcus is the only one past Malik. Masso just getting past Malik, but
Yeah. Marcus fighting Gruzmother, which very similar to how it is in most other categories, with the exception of not having Fireball. So getting all nail hits, and the worst part is doing this cleanup without Fireball.
mm-hmm.
It can be
See how
fairly
it goes.
consistent, but with Fireball, but you're kind of relying on a good amount of Gruzzer RNG when you only have your nail.
Yeah, that didn't look too bad.
That wasn't bad. A lot better than I could ever do it. So
Only a couple. Only around, I think it was either 6 or 7 nail hits. If you can get under 1 nail hit per Gruzzer, then that's pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
And there are a total of 7, so let's see what Marcus can do here. Masso also getting past Malik Explorer on the way into the
Marcus
spikes.
doing the
Marcus
second
goes.
warp. Yep.
From here, it's just movement where Marcus is. You just move around. Move around. It's all jumps, all just speed. No boss fights past here. You do have to get this grub in center crossroads, and I think we are going to see the first completed run.
That'll be very exciting.
Yeah. And
It's
then we just have to get this grub up here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too how some of the runners are even approaching how they're handling resets. You'll notice that Slorent, Thundar, Mr. Sir, and Masso are all running in Steel Soul. What this will allow them to do is reset ever so slightly faster if they take a death to, say, Malik or to Gomes or something. It's ever so slightly faster to Steel Soul, perma-die, and then be kicked to the main menu than to go through the regular death animation that drops a shade.
Yeah, you just have to take a death and then you mash, and then that brings you back to the main menu. You don't have to do a traditional quit out or anything.
Yeah, it's kinda nice. A lot of runners utilize that when grinding in their free time, in order to save a little bit of time and not force a run after a death.
Should be a sub 8, and honestly, I will take that as a starting point, considering.
And yeah, Marcus coming up on Grubfather. Just a few more throws, a couple more geo, and we'll be good on that.
The nice thing about this category is that unlike other categories that rely on an object that Grubfather throws that bounces off the floor, the Mask Shard just floats there, so there's no time RNG that you have to worry about in Grub Song percent and Elegy percent and in Happy Couple. You actually have to wait a second for your drops to bounce the proper number of times. Whereas this, he just throws a shard, and there's Marcus with the first completed run.
757.
Yeah, let me get the time for that real quick.
Starting point.
I think that was a 757. Let me. It was a 75x at the very least. Yeah, let's get that. 757. It looks like.
Very, very impressive to just go in with your. That was Marcus's first run, right? Like he didn't reset.
I believe that's the first run. As soon as we said go.
Yeah, very nice to get a sub 8 on the first try. At least the first try live here.
Yeah. It's good. It's not good. It's not in this group a particularly hard time to beat, but it's a good solid working point for the next 2 hours. And Marcus now has a run that can let him make some decisions on whether to go a little bit more risky, whether to take more safeties, a couple more heals here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just very like these runners are all very talented. They all are absolutely capable of getting sub 8s frequently, but as we see with the other runners that have all reset or taken deaths, it's very easy to lose a run or opt to reset to save some more time. Slorent with an interesting pogo technique on Gruz Mother. I really liked that.
Yeah, it looks like Mazzo in the bottom right, coming up on the end of a run, on the tail end after the last scrub. Just needs to
Ooh.
get some Geo, and then the Mask Shard, and that'll be Geo, 2 Mask Shards, and that'll be it.
That's pretty good.
An annoying thing about four Mask Shards, as I see Thundar get double spike, is that
Yes.
double spike in most Hollow Knight categories is very early on in the run and is a very frequent reset point for a lot of people in shorter categories. But in this run, it's actually most of the way through. You have to go through that Aspid arena fairly late. So it's a little more annoying as a reset point. Taking a nice forward damage tank in the Gome room. And I find very interesting with the runners going through the Gome maze. A lot of them handle attempting to get that Mask Shard different at the end differently, because if you fall normally through that, you will take a hard fall, which obviously loses time. But what Thundar did was he landed on one of the places where the gomes come out to avoid the hard fall. And other runners I've seen go for inventory drops. I've seen on 1432 you can do that inventory cancel I was talking about earlier. So there's a lot of different ways to save a minimal amount of time. I think the optimal thing is to have a nail hit that puts you directly on the Mask Shard, but it's pretty hard to hit to my understanding.
It's very precise. And while we were talking, we saw Mazzo actually finish a run, get a 7-4x.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking over that. Jeez. GG.
All good. Yeah, Mazzo getting a 749, it looks like. I believe it was a 49.96. Super solid time to be getting this early on. We still have an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh,
And yeah,
Slorent.
Slor on a good pace as well. I don't know if that's gonna be. I don't know if that's a 4x pace, but it's definitely close by. I think it is at worst a low 5x. So we'll see what we get here.
Collecting
Yeah,
that
get
Geo.
that Geo.
I always find it really hard to actually jump into the Mask Shards at the right time. I always jump too early and miss it. So you can tell these runners are very experienced if they're jumping up at the right time.
Yeah, not hard to just miss that jump and go right through the Mask Shard. All right.
I don't know how long this animation takes.
Yeah, it's not going to be a 49, not quite. It's a 50 though. It's a 50.79, and that's the second fastest time so far. We're only 15 minutes in. We already have 750, a 757, a 749. It's gonna be. I'm honestly scared for what we're gonna see at the end of this. Thundar also pretty late into a run.
This is very exciting. It just goes to show how talented these runners are, how much practice they've put into the category, into Hollow Knight in general, and just like how consistent they can be, even with this category that can really bully you with RNG because it is so short.
Yeah, being like fast in this category is different from being fast in other categories to a certain extent because of how short it is. You can optimize the heck out of some things.
Yeah.
You can optimize, for example, a room IL known as Crossroads 72, or it's Crossroads 27 rather.
And 27, yep.
Crossroads 27, pretty well known as a room that people will grind just to get a good room time for no other reason than they wanted to have fun, and also is good practice for 4 Mask Shards. And some of those strats in that one room are just mind-boggling. There's like a pogo or something.
One thing talking about earlier that we do see in this run too is that you do spend a significant amount of time, especially if you're resetting in King's Pass. And some runners are really sticklers for a good King's Pass time. Others prefer to just get out of there because if you get stuck in King's Pass, you could just be stuck in that loop forever, just dealing with
Yeah.
Vengefly RNG, and everyone's a bit of a stickler, can be a bit of a stickler for King's Pass because of
Yeah.
how often you do it. And Thundar, with the finish, I don't know the
Looks like a
time.
7:58.
Wow,
That's what I'm seeing.
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good time. It is so far not it is so far the slowest time on the board right now. We still have time. And that 7:58 is going to go down. I bet it's going to go down pretty far.
Big power of community grind sessions like this.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm somewhat surprised that there hasn't been an LTA event within the Hollow Knight community before, because at the very
This
least,
kind
four
of
Mask
event.
Shards seems like a very nice category to do it with. Very fun
Yeah.
category to do it with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly active in other speedrunning communities, but this I've never like heard of this kind of event before, and I really like it because it's a lot more true to how a lot of people practice speedrunning, as opposed to like taking marathon safety. Slorent getting I think the RNG softball in KP, always nice.
Yeah. Looks like both Marcus and Mr. Sir are pretty late into runs as well
Oh,
right
yep.
now.
Mr. Sir, after collecting his least favorite grub, which is the Aspen one, quitting out here to finish his first run.
Yep. We'll see what the times on that are. Meanwhile, Mazo just passed Malik, Thundar, and Slor, both very early on KP and Dirtmouth. Dirtmouth first pass, mind you, because we
Yeah.
do go back to Dirtmouth a total of 3 times across the course of this run.
It is the only bench that you take, and by taking it, it's just you automatically get it when you walk past it. So
Yeah, it's just effectively a hard save. I
yeah,
think
pretty
across
much.
the course of this run, you do get the KP hard save, and you also get the hard save at Dirtmouth bench for going down the well. Is what I think it is, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know if it's going down the well or like I know you have to be within a certain range of the bench itself to get it, because I know that's something that it matters a lot in AG, I'm pretty sure. Mr.
Yeah.
Sir getting the third Mask Shard up out to close it out at Sly.
Dirtmouth hard save is going past the stag, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's interesting. Yeah, Mr. Sir, this looks like a pretty good pace, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
It's looking like a low 5x, I think.
And that is very exciting. Mr. Sir has been doing a lot of 1-2-2-1 recently and has noted that he has been just like, you know, struggling with some of the quirks of latest patch. So it's really good to see him get into this groove that he hasn't, you know,
Wait.
hasn't done it in a while.
Is that a 746
Wait, where?
on Marcus's screen?
Oh my,
Is that a 746? Hold on.
that is a
Am I
746.
seeing things?
746.82, I think.
746.82. So, let's refer back to the leaderboard. Jacqueline Marcus's SRC PB is a 747.79. So, we're 20 minutes in, and we have an LTA PB.
That is
Absolutely
so
amazing.
exciting.
Certainly a time.
Gosh,
And-
there's so many runners having good paces that it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah. There's just
So
so much going on. There's 5 people, and most of the time we're just talking about the late runs, but even early on, the inventory drops, the Moloch fight, the first 2 grubs, there's just so much to talk about. And we
There
could
is.
honestly talk about any single runner for the full 2 hours, and you wouldn't be bored. Maybe you would get bored near the very, very end, but we have 5 runners to talk about, so we're going to be talking about 5 total runners.
No. Someone noted in chat that Marcus is doing 1432 screen shaken, so that would need to be legalized for 1432 first. Oh
Yeah,
no. Still
definitely,
very
definitely a
impressive.
choice. Yeah, it's still a 746. So, all right, we have Slore going into Go Mask Shards Thundar, just getting the grub going to Aspid Arena, Mr. Sir going through King's Pass, Marcus also going through King's Pass, Masso somewhat late, and just gonna take a reset there. Missing the grub, taking a couple hits. And yeah, with that 749, that's a solid base to work off of. You can take those late resets.
Yeah. And it's also a wonder. I wonder how many of the runners. I know some runners when in events like this tend to pull up the Hollow Knight community page so that they can see where other people are at. I wonder how many, and other runners opt not to do that for the sake of, nerves or sanity or just to have a better time. So I wonder how many runners have that up and know where they stand at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very friendly event, but there is a sense of like placings because there is faster times, there is slower times, so interesting to see that. And from a competitive aspect, whether you want to try to go for risky strats to get a faster time, get a higher quote unquote placing, as we see Slore unfortunately taking in death to Grosmom there.
Grosmom, yeah.
Or to see that you're pretty solidly in the lead like Marcus is right now, and just take a couple safety strats, or even uh, go even riskier and just go for a really fast time and maybe even another PB.
That is I'm so excited that we were able to witness a PB here. So much good gameplay happening here today.
We see 3 simultaneous resets here. Masso also in KP. Thunder around a somewhat late run here into Grosmom.
Another interesting thing about this category and its history is no longer the case last I checked on SRC. But this was the first speedrun, I don't think it was just category extensions. I think it was in all of Hollow Knight where the LP time was faster than the 1221 time because there was just such a community of people that were such dedicated runners to 4 Mask Shards on latest patch. And that was that happened, I think, something like 2 years ago, and that was a very exciting moment. I remember there being a lot of hype around that in the latest patch community. And even though I do believe that the 1221 time world record is faster now, it's still a very healthy latest patch community, especially for 4 Mask Shards. And it's really fun to see that.
Yeah, I do believe it is faster on 1221. Yeah, we have a 738 and as well as a 739, so significantly faster than 1.4 plus.
It is worth noting that the 739 on 1221 is held by Marcus. So we have very talented runners on both patches, both speed patches of the game, which is so exciting for me because it can be very jarring switching between things that feel different between the patches. You can take inventory drops off of edges on latest patch, but you can do them in midair in 1221. There's like little physics differences. Freeze frames take longer on 1221. So like the fact that these runners can switch between them with such elegance is very impressive.
Yeah. Marcus running on usually on 1221, doing any percent and whatnot, doing 4 Mask Shards as well on both 1221 and 1.4 plus, and also running other games, and that's just a skill set.
And I'm pretty sure Mr. Sir is the same way. He's been running low percent 1221 recently. After getting a good time in low percent latest patch. I know he's done console runs. I know he runs Celeste. He's done quite a bit. So the talent is very impressive, and I know I don't know if Slorent, Thundar, or Masso have done other patches, but I do know that they. I know Thundar runs multiple other games, and I know Slorent and Masso at least rando a lot. Just a lot of like varied skill sets here.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's some people that only run Hollow Knight. There's some people that will branch off into other games. There's some people that have Hollow Knight as their secondary quote unquote secondary speedrun game, where they put most of their effort into another game. And then there's people that run Hollow Knight,
Yeah.
and that's basically all that they do. People that and there's in with even within that, there's people that run any percent, run true ending, and then there's people that do basically everything, like
Yeah.
112, any percent, meme categories like this 4 Mask Shards here, and even other games.
Yeah, it's very cool to see everyone's different approaches to speedrunning. Especially as someone who I've never had much time to dedicate to speedrunning myself, so it's very fun to see how people are able to train, practice, or some people are just able to like YOLO runs and get very good times, and they will always impress me.
Yeah.
Alright, I think everyone is fairly early in the run. Like, I think Slorent is the furthest, or is Masso?
I think Mazza is a bit
Yeah.
farther. Couple
Masso
rooms.
is farther.
Couple of rooms, one Mask Shard farther, but also on 1 health, and we'll see what he decides to do on the way to Gruzmom. You can take a heal, or you can just go on 1 health and hope that you go in and win. And honestly, with the 7-4x, I think he might just do that.
Probably, I can imagine. I mean, Grozmom is a fairly easy boss to deal with, but like judging her hitbox, especially when you don't know what direction she's gonna fly in, can be very annoying.
Yeah.
And Masso handles her with ease, taking the heal after her, which is absolutely free, as she needs time to properly explode into Geo and reveal the Gruzzers that lie inside.
All right. We'll get that. You get that blown up view of Masso coming up on the last, around 4th of the run.
Yep, and again, this part is pretty much just movement, unless you're on like very, very low health when you come up upon the guarded grub and manage to hit him as he does double damage. I don't really think there's much of a risk for the rest of this run.
Not much risk, but we see Mazo is also on, I believe that's on pace barely for a 748, so that would be an improvement to the 749 that he has right now.
Marcus taking a death to Malik in the background as Mr. Sir is fighting it as well.
Yeah.
Slorent at Gruzmom as well. It only becomes hard when we make everyone small. It's hard to tell what pace everyone is on.
It's hard to tell what pace everyone's on, but we'll go back to the other runners once we get through this run here.
Yes.
And we're only about half an hour in, and we've already seen I think that's I think we've seen 2 7-4x's.
Masso whiffed the grub.
I think that might have cost the 748. And that would be a storyline.
It goes to show how brutal this category is.
You greed things, you try to go as fast as possible and do the early quit outs, the early nail slashes, and then you miss and you lose a second or two. And that second or two can make the difference.
It is very easy to two-cycle grubs in this category.
Yeah.
Because you're just greeting for hitting them at the very, very tip of your nail. But sometimes it's difficult to judge exactly how your position aligns with theirs.
And then there's that one specific grub, the acid grub, where if you two-cycle that, it's basically a reset because you fall into the acid and you lose. I believe that's around at least 5 seconds.
Yeah, the Vengefly Pogo Grub is also not a fun one to lose
Yeah.
time on. The Vengefly Pogo to the one grub is pretty free if you pogo twice, but top runners generally only pogo once, which is a lot tighter.
One pogo. And that does give you an extra chance at it, but one pogo is a bit tighter. Two pogos is a bit easier, but you don't have a backup in that case. And we see another 749.96 from Masso.
Very impressive. I love the consistency.
Yeah, more 4Xs, and we see Slor also on a pretty good pace. I think that's a 7-4X pace, like barely. Yeah, I think it is. It'll be close. It'll be close. This might be a 749.9x as well, and that would be absolutely hilarious. And we might have to pull out the tenths if that's the
Wow.
case.
Let's see.
We'll see what we get here.
You can tell I don't run this myself because I do not know how long this animation takes.
Okay, 749.68. Yeah, so that'll be a 749.6. Absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And yeah, looks like no one's particularly far in any runs anymore.
I also want to point out with Masso getting
And in a different place
There we go,
entirely.
I guess.
it out. I'm gonna keep talking like everyone can hear audio again. Wonderful.
Amazing.
Perfect. Everyone, shout outs to Tim or Maginal for for restreaming today. He's doing amazing.
Absolute starstruck, not starstruck, that's not the right word. Very,
Star
very
star performance.
star performer in the restreaming scene of things.
There is a lot happening with this restream setup with how many runners are going and how long it takes to switch between scenes. So just
Yeah.
huge shout outs to him for all of that.
Yeah. Managing the scenes, managing the audio, managing the times written in as well. Absolute unit. So we see Marcus going into the first Mask Shard, Mazo also, and Malik, Mr. Sir going through to Aspids. Marcus not quite getting the slash to get that Mask Shard.
It is. I think I've only ever seen one get that live once in my life. I am pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Thundar taking a couple hits on the way to that same Mask Shard. 1 health and not much soul to heal as we see Slor take a reset.
I'll continue though. I'll reset after.
We'll see what Thundar decides to do regarding health. Going into Rosemom here as Marcus is heading the same direction.
Yeah.
Something interesting about this run that you may have noticed if you're watching with a keen eye is you don't have very many benches like we said earlier on. You have a lot of opportunities to heal. You can heal after Malik, you can heal after Gruzmom, and if you really wanted, you can take a heal in the Gome Gauntlet for no time loss. So you have a few options to heal. It's just a matter of how little damage you can take, because it's not hard to take damage in this run.
For sure. The movement can be very, very punishing at times, and like the two bosses even can be a little bit of a pain. Um, but what is nice is that the runners, because this run does not get Vengeful Spirit or any spell for that matter, the runners at least don't have to worry about conserving soul for that purpose. Their
Yeah.
soul is only to heal.
And we saw Marcus take a reset pretty late into the run after Gruzmon. That 746 lets you do things like
Ooh,
that. Take a late reset. Maso also going to
yeah.
take a reset after that Vengefly.
When that Vengefly runs into a Gome or you get hit at the wrong moment, it can be very difficult to recover, especially, and it loses a lot of time, so that reset is totally understandable.
Yeah. You have to leave the room, come back, and then do the pogo again in the movement leading up to it. I think outside of a death, that might be the biggest time loss in the entire run
I
that you
think
can take.
so. I think so. That one, I think it depends on where the Vengefly dies and how, I don't know, but it probably is.
There's different factors, variables that go into it that can change on a whim,
Hmm.
especially
Also,
with how Vengefly movement in this game is.
yes, and Vengeflies are like most flying enemies in that they're FPS dependent, right?
Yes, Vengeflies are FPS dependent. The higher your frame rate, the I believe higher their acceleration is. So they will move faster they will accelerate faster towards you. They will go from 0 to max speed faster, and they also turn around faster, which I don't believe is super meaningful in 4 Mask Shards, but there's a couple categories where that is very, very important.
I believe that might be meaningful for the Gome one if it's facing the wrong direction, but again, I'm not a top runner in this category. I ran it once this morning, so I don't know how meaningful the FPS is for Vengeflies here. Um, but they're interesting enemies with a lot of variance is the key takeaway.
Interesting enemies with a lot of variance indeed. A lot of variance that hopefully they can deal with, and they're dealing with pretty well. We've seen a couple mishaps with Vengeflies, but for the most part, everyone doing pretty well with them.
Yeah. Very, very clean gameplay from everyone on screen.
Yeah, I mean we haven't seen a finish run above 8 minutes today,
No,
so
no, I think these runners they're out for I don't know. I would say they're out for blood, but that's not true. They're out for that 7-4X.
oh
Um
they're so out for
or
that 7-4X, and 3 of them have already gotten this. One of them with a 746 even.
yeah. So impressive. And it's also another thing fun to mention here, as these runners are very, very high in the leaderboards, or high as in like low first. I don't know. I don't know how
Uh,
to word that.
low times low numbers in the rankings, high placements on the
Yeah,
leaderboards.
however is best to word that. Thank you, Sawa.
Yeah,
But we have top runners today, and they they're all capable of beating the world record. The world record um in latest patches set by is Weevil with a 744 exactly.
I believe
And
so.
Slorent is in second place with a 745 exactly.
Exactly a
Um,
second difference between the two, which is certainly a time, and it's certainly something that you can make some fun out of.
yes, it's very cool. So if we see any timer with a 744, it is automatically our world record.
It is at the very least a PB. I don't think as if it's a 743, it'll be a
Oh
world record. A
shoot. Yeah,
744 will
740.
be
I
slightly
was looking
slower
at
than
the
a 744 flat.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. I was looking at the wrong part of my notes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looks like we have Marcus going into Aspid Arena. Mr. Sir just getting through. Good double spike there. We'll see if, how
Go-
these runs that are going right now go. We saw Mr. Sir kind of fall into a little gap there.
Recovers
Slightly slow, but
cleanly.
yeah, still catching all the cycles.
Yes, that's the important part. There's so
Yeah.
many cycle-based things within Hollow Knight, especially with this like Gome maze. So, ooh,
Yeah, and
opting to
hitting
take the
his head
heal.
once, yeah. Not gonna quite make the cycle, so has to take that heal at the top. Not get hit. We see
Good
Marcus
that he,
going through as well. And he
good that
does
he
make the
had
cycle.
soul to be able to heal at the top there, because if you do miss that cycle, at
Absolutely.
least you get something out of it.
At least you get a little bit of safety.
Yeah.
And in an event, even regardless of it being a 2-hour basically grind session, you want that safety. As we see
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sir going into Grosmom on 2 health, Marcus at 1 in a
Ooh.
similar predicament, but slightly lower on that HP.
Yeah, and if we've seen anything in these runners today, it's that they're not taking too many safeties. So, doubt we'll see a heal before Gruz Mother.
Yeah, especially with that 746 already on the board. Looks like Marcus
Exactly.
is ahead of PB though, I think.
Right now? Ooh. And
I
that
think
PB
so.
would be the 746.
Yeah. So we
Me-
could see an improvement on the top run already that we have on the boards.
If we don't
Resmom not
die
going
to.
very well though. Yeah, there we
Ooh.
go. Oh yeah, okay. We are like somewhat solidly behind, but we'll see if he decides to finish off this run.
Ooh, bad bad Gruzzers coming out of Gruzmom
Mm-hmm.
too. Sometimes they just go in whatever which way and they don't group up nicely. You end up only hitting one or two at a time with your nail. Yep, opting for the reset.
Yeah. It happens pretty
Ooh,
often too.
Masso managing to get Malik on 1 HP.
Just
Always a
barely
little
Thunder
scary.
also on 1
Another.
HP
Oh.
and no longer on 1 HP. We're going to be seeing a death there. And there's that Steel Soul coming into play. Fast resets.
Yep.
And immediately back in. As soon as you lose a run, you go back in so that you can get the most out of those 2 hours.
So it can
Alright.
be a little bit of a mind game, because if you're just constantly hands on the controller for 2 hours, it can be a bit of a wear on your hands. Like this
And,
dashless movement
yeah.
can hurt your hands.
It can be exhausting, both physically and mentally. 2 hours
Yes.
straight of dashless movement, jumping everywhere, and trying to be as optimal as possible on every single jump, every single slash. That can do a toll.
And
So,
doing it live in front
yeah,
of the community even.
is
Like
exactly.
I know I would be gripping my controller a little too tightly. Though I think most of our runners are on keyboard, but
Yeah,
I don't know if they're all on.
they'll be gripping their keyboards.
It
I
can
don't
still
think that's
hurt
a
your
good idea.
hands.
Yeah,
Everyone watching, do not grip your keyboard.
probably not a good idea. All right, you see Floor on Malik, Mr. Sir in KP, and everyone else is mid reset right now. It looks like. We'll see how this Malik fight goes. 2 HP. Okay, never mind. I shouldn't have said anything. Okay,
Oh,
I shouldn't have said
no.
anything. Okay.
It's funny to see almost every screen just mashing through the
Yeah,
cutscenes.
mashing through the cutscenes in either the opening, mid reset, or going through KP right now.
Right? It's always I know it's very easy to, when you're grinding for a good time, to get in the mindset when you reset, when the poem pops up and you're like, "Oh, shut up, Monomon." Like,
Yeah,
just let me into the game already.
yeah, especially on 1.4 plus, which we're playing on today. You have to watch through every single cutscene, and you can't skip them all at once. You have to skip them one at a time. And you see you get to see a little clip of specifically the chains that keep THK down and nothing else.
Yeah. It's funny whenever like some of our runners have input most of our runners have input displays, and seeing how different people mash even, it's like, I don't know how mindless it is. I don't know how angry it is. I just know I've been there.
Mm-hmm. Certainly ways to mash that are slightly faster than others, as we see Jinky not being very nice on Slor's side.
The Vengeflies in KP, for anyone who isn't aware, the first one is named Jinky, the second one is named Janky, and they both can be pains, depending on their positioning and how they lure towards you.
Yeah, first KP Vengefly known as Jinky, sometimes known as the first Vengefly in KP, sometimes known as Yepfly.
Yepfly, I haven't heard that one, and I really like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of names. The Hollow Knight community is very good at naming things, except for glitches. They name everything storage.
Yeah, I think the only names we see are the Vengeflies and like they go past a Jennifer. There's the Leaping Husks. A lot of people refer to as Jennifer, and I don't know if anyone remembers where that came from.
I think that's before my time, actually.
I think it's definitely before mine. So
Yeah.
if anyone knows where Jennifer came from, I heard someone once say that it came from someone misspeaking on jumping, but like I have no clue where it came from. I just know that if I see a leaping husk, that's a Jennifer right there.
Hmm. Yeah. And on Slor's screen, it looks like we're having a pretty good KP. That's a pretty solid 56, I think.
Oh wow, very
We we always
impressive.
we always
Yeah,
look at our fast runs, our late runs, but we have KP. We have 56.59 KPs here, where
that
most people are getting 57s, 58s. 56.59 is pretty fast.
it is fast, and like you can play this game for a really long time, and if you are used to running longer categories, um you might never see those KP times, even though you do still go through KP just as these runners do. It just shows how optimized they have everything down.
Yeah, even top runners in, for example, 112, it's possible that they've never seen a 56.
I have it's like I've definitely never seen a 56, but I am not on that level.
Mm-hmm. As we see Marcus on here, yeah, going going towards Acid Grub, taking the dunk, not landing on the
Very
ledge,
clean.
interestingly enough. You
I
can land on the ledge up there to get the grub. You can also inventory drop into the acid. That saves a little bit of time. It's so minuscule that if you're not going for that, it's faster to just not land on the ledge there.
Masso letting the cutscene play a little bit, probably taking a little bit of a hand, maybe mental break. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's sometimes very needed. The nice thing is that playing through the cutscenes does not take away from your actual time in the speed run. In this event, it obviously takes away from our 2 hours, but not a bad choice, not a bad thing to like let your hands rest if you need it.
Could be a smart play. As we see Marcus taking quite a few hits, going through the Gomes Gauntlet. You're
Ooh,
gonna take a heal here.
opting for the heal, yep. Bonking
And
head though. Ooh, I was a little scared he wouldn't make it.
yeah, still making the cycle, not
Ah,
getting the turnaround on the slash. We see Thunder going through this exact same area, everyone else on KP. And yeah, Mark is just gonna take a reset, falling down before the first Gome. We see Thunder here.
yeah, Thundar opting to land on that ledge instead of going for the knockback. And honestly, that's completely fair considering how hard it is to achieve.
It loses very little time, and it
Yeah,
gives a little bit of safety because you don't lose as much time as when you miss the static slash. So
yeah.
it's definitely a strat that people can employ and people definitely go for in even PB attempts.
Especially if you're running on 1.5, because and I don't know what Thundar is running on. I don't know if it's on his screen anywhere.
I
But if
don't
you're
believe
running on
so.
1.5, it can be um taking any hard fall just simply hurts because you can't even inventory mash out of it. Um So it's rough.
Any hard fall will just instantly lose you 0.8 seconds.
And this,
Yeah.
it's amazing what the routing of this run does to avoid hard falls, because there's just, if you're used to going through these rooms with dash, like if you run 4 Mask Shards without ever having run it before, like I did this morning, there's so many rooms that you're used to going through with dash that you avoid hard falls because you have dash. But here you actually have to land on more platforms to avoid hard falls.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good gross cleanup there, and
That looks like a nice Gruz cleanup.
yeah, Thunder on a pretty good pace. Did fall down once, but we'll see. We'll see if it's at least faster than the 755 that he has on the board right now.
Mm-hmm.
It very, very
Only
well could be.
only concern here is after this, yeah, 1 HP, which isn't bad, but there are points where crossroads movement can still just screw you, or the husk, like the aspids can be annoying. The husk that's guarding the grub can be annoying if you're at 1 HP. Ooh, yeah, like I. Oh, yep,
And
the Venge
yeah,
Fly.
there it is. There's a death, and that's just gonna be a reset.
I I feel bad if I comms cursed that in a way.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
We see Slower going into Acid Grub, Mr. Sir getting the final finishing hits on Malik pretty soon here, I believe. Yeah, there
Yep.
it is. Right. And yeah,
It
Slower
is
not landing on the ledge as well. Interesting.
it is so satisfying to when you're fighting Moloch to just get that pop at the end. Because in 4 Mask
Yeah.
Shards it feels like it can last forever when you're the one running.
It takes so long, especially when you play randos, because
Oh yeah.
the timing on that explosion is different in randomizer than it is in for Mask Shards or vanilla speedrunning, vanilla gameplay, because in rando it it pops and immediately just gives you the item. And in for Mask Shards, other vanilla gameplay, you have to wait for the mask shard to spawn, and you have to wait for the mask shard to gain a hitbox after it spawns as well. So it's certainly a time. As we see
The
Mr.
lack
Sir
of
going to Aspids.
the lack of QOL on pretty good pace here. Let's see if he gets double spike. Nice, clean double
Nice.
spike.
Clean double spike there.
It's also just so
Mr.
nice to not have to worry about the geo in that arena.
Mm-hmm.
Some categories it actually matters, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah,
Nice.
sometimes you have to get like 15 out of the 18 geo, and you're like, how am I supposed to get 15 geo without losing time?
Yeah, it's pretty hard, if not impossible.
Yeah. See Mr. Sir getting this smash shard as we see Slorent going into Gruzmom here.
Oh, and Mr. Sir is ahead of his PB right
Ahead
now.
ahead of the 754 that he
Oh,
has
7.
on the time right now.
Oh yeah, that's not his PB. I didn't know he was not running against.
Yeah, that's also a choice that you can make is whether to run against PB, whether to run against fresh splits, whether to run against golds, other comparisons. There's so much that you can do, and it's mostly a mental choice
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you just wait, or sometimes you look at your splits and you're like, okay, this is a good run. I don't want to lose this anymore.
Right. Exactly. And it's so easy to get in your own head when you're competing against, especially if your PB's really old, and you're out of practice with that specific category. It could be very easy to get in your own head about what your PB was and how you're doing now. And as soon as you see red on that timer, it can just mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Speedrunning is 100% a mental game. Well, you do need your hands, but it is partially a mental
Yeah.
game. This Gruzmom cleanup, my beloved.
Yeah, see, Mr. Sir, look, giving a little hearty laugh. Not, I don't think he's very happy with that one.
Probably not. I wouldn't be.
Yeah, we'll see how the splits look after this grub here. I don't
Missing
think
that
it's
pogo.
I don't think it's quite gonna be ahead anymore. Yeah, 3 seconds. No, that's not ahead anymore.
Yeah.
Cleanup just being just not very nice.
Yeah.
See, it looks like Thundar and Marcus basically in the same place right now. Both past Moloch, both getting the acid grub. Marcus taking the dunk and going back. Health management in this run is interesting as well, as we see Mr. Sir taking that reset.
Mm-hmm.
Health management interesting because first off, you have Moloch. You have first off King's Pass where you can take a couple hits, uh, if you're not super careful, or if you want to go super fast. There's some patterns that where you will just take a hit with certain strats. And then
Yep.
there's Moloch. Then there's the one required damage tank into the acid for the damage warp. There's everything in the Gome Gauntlet.
Everything
There's
in the Gome Gauntlet. There's Gruzmother. There's the Spike Grub, which has a required damage tank. And all of the movement back all the way to Guarded Grub.
yeah, into the 2 damage that you can potentially take there if you're
Yeah.
not playing to not take damage, and Marcus with an up slash there. Slore with a finished run here. Oh, that's a
Ooh,
747.
very good.
747, very nice. That's our second fastest run today.
Very impressive
Very,
performance from Slorent.
very good. And we are about halfway through. Getting a 747 here. This is where you start to put pressure on other people to get runs going, and maybe even if you're not on not on even a not on even a 747-46 pace to get a run going and get it done. Even if you have, let's say, a hard falling KP that you didn't mean to do, if you miss a soft fall setup, you still might continue that run at this point because we are heading into the second half of this, and especially for the two people here that have a 5x still right now, you need to get some sort of run going and hope that you can get a 4x.
Yep. Marcus with another just like not too bad. He handled it very well, but the Gruzzers really just wanted to separate from each other.
Yeah, some patterns you can deal with, some patterns you just kind of can't do much about.
Have there been any PBs so far today? Marcus got a latest patch PB for 746. Though, however, we were told that Marcus is running with a screen shakent without
Yeah,
screen shake on 1432,
yeah,
which isn't currently legal on SRC. Um,
not
but
SRC legal, but we'll absolutely take that for this event.
yeah, I mean, not having screen shake is just a nice quality of life if you're used to not experiencing it. So
Yeah,
completely
it is
understand why
nice.
a lot of runners use that.
Very nice,
It,
and honestly, it should have been a default setting. But
yeah, it was fairly recently legalized for 1221. Am I correct?
I believe so. It was legalized for 1221. It hasn't been legalized yet for other patches, though the assemblies do exist, and 1.5 does have it by default.
Yes.
Your Marcus very deep in a run, only has the grubs and the Mask Shard left. We'll see if what this time ends up being. Even if it isn't better than a 746, we could still get a 74x, which is which will just put pressure on everyone else. And there we saw inventory hardfall cancel down the well, where you can pause, unpause, hold left, because you can move left if you hold it after pausing, and then inventory not hardfall cancel on the way down. It saves a very, very minuscule amount of time, but in 4 Mask Shards, that very, very minuscule amount of time can mean the world, so...
Yes.
Alright. Get this Mask Shard, and yeah, gonna jump through it once. That's what happens if you jump a little bit too early. Doesn't look like it's quite gonna be faster than a 4-6, but could be a 4x still.
I'll take seeing another 4x. Very
Yeah,
entertaining.
very much so.
It's also very nice that the Mask Shard is the first item that Sly offers, so you do not have to worry about scrolling to the right item.
Yeah,
What is that?
low 749, which is faster than I think that's faster than Mazzo's time. So getting a second run done, that's that beats that 749, and we have so many good times already. 749, 747, 746, and even the 755, 754. That's not an easy time to get. I ran this category a few months ago, and I think my PB ended up being a 758. So everyone here has already gotten time faster than that today within the first hour of running this category.
They have all of my respect.
Absolutely.
Oh, then we got a sync up on Marcus and Masso falling into KP. They must have reset at the same time.
We'll see what
Very
they're
fun to see
doing.
side by side movement, even if it's just KP.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Thundar on Aspid Arena. Florent just finishing off Malek. Yeah, we saw a different Benchfly Pogo setup there from Marcus and Mazzo. One of them going left and eating the little bit of time loss just to get through, and one of them going for the faster Pogo. And yeah, Mazzo just gonna take a reset.
Is that the little tick tick pogo I was watching a different screen?
It is the Benchfly Pogo.
Oh, okay.
Going on the left platform or skipping all the way up. Going left works on any RNG and is a bit slower, but will let you continue a run. Going to the right can be slower depending on how far left the bench fly is and your frame rate. You have to consider what strats are faster for you depending on how many frames PS you are getting.
It is interesting that different people will opt for different strats, not only for their own comfort, but also for their hardware dependencies.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much to take into account with Hollow Knight speedrunning.
Yeah, as we see Thunder heading over to Gruzmom. Might be on a 4x pace. I'm not entirely sure. It will depend on the Gruz cleanup after this. Ooh,
Ooh,
missing the
whiffing
pogos.
some, yeah, whiffing some nail slashes hurts.
Yeah, precious, precious DPS that you're missing out on there.
When you don't have a lot and all you have is the 5 HP that your nail can deal, it makes a difference.
Yeah. We'll see what this cleanup is. What it looks like. Not super great, but like it's not terrible. And in an event like this, I would take it for sure.
A lot of them grouped together, but then like flew away from Thundar there, which is really annoying because it's like on the one hand good RNG in the sense of they grouped together, but on the other hand they were too far away for him to just nail slash.
Yeah, on the other hand, even like one or two stragglers, that's two, even three, four if you have multiple extra slashes that you have to do,
Yes.
and that just loses 1-2 seconds off of that alone. We see Slor going into Grossmom as well. 1 health, missing a couple slashes, but getting that done.
But I hope Slur gets a good good cleanup here.
Mm-hmm. In the corner. Again, Grossmom in the corner here. Missing a nail slash. Not what you want to be seeing, but otherwise very, very grouped up. One
Oh,
straggler
the one
messing it
straggler.
all up.
Slorent has a very interesting strat of keeping them all in the corner, though, and that I'm honestly very impressed by that because, like, despite the the straggler and whatever, he did very well recovering from the RNG that he got and doing well
Yeah.
to manage the enemies on screen.
Oh, and that missing that jump, that instantly resetting, trying to get a faster time than that 747 on the board already.
Yeah.
See, Mr. Sir going through. Never mind, we're not seeing Mr. Sir go through anymore. I swear, as soon as I say anything, as soon as I say
it's
anything,
how Com's curse works.
exactly, and we see Marcus coming back and jumping back into runs here as well. All right, yeah. Thunder. We'll see. We'll see what this final time is for Thunder. It could be faster than the 7:55, and that's what we're looking for right now. I think it will be. I think it will be. It looks like a low 5x, which is faster than what he has on the board.
That's awesome. Looks like Mr. Sir taking a little break, which is healthy. I love
Absolutely.
to see that. Take breaks in your speedruns, everyone.
Yeah, take breaks in your speed runs. You don't need speed. You need breaks.
Sometimes the break is what is required for you to get that speed. Let's
Yeah.
see what time. 7:52. Nice.
52.97.
Great showcase from Thundar there.
Yeah. See Mazo on Moloch, Slor on KP, everyone else very, very either early on or uh still on the title screen.
Ooh. Oh.
One, yeah, that's just gonna be a death there. Mazo going back, sent back to start. Go to the start. Do not collect $200.
Do not pass go.
Do not pass go. Do not pass
Do not
Moloch.
do not pass Moloch. Do not collect 200 Geo. We only need 150 here.
We only need 150 as we see Slor heading into Dirtmouth. Everyone else very early on in runs. So
KP Peepo arrive.
KP Peepo arrive. Oh, that Slor getting hit by mid inventory drop by the Vengefly. You can save it with an extra by re-inventory dropping, but it's very, very precise and PC dependent. Re-inventory dropping, not something that you see very often.
I didn't even know it was possible.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad PC dependent?
It is bad PC dependent.
Maybe I should go for it.
The lower your specs are, the more the game lags when you get hit out of an inventory drop, and therefore the more frames you have to repress inventory to get another inventory drop. It's cursed.
The resident expert on bad PC running techniques.
Yeah, resident potato toaster user, former potato toaster user, now a carrot oven user. Not that much better.
Uh,
All right, see Slor heading into Malik. Oh my god, the cycle, the 1-2-3 jump to just not get hit. It's just like dazzling being able to see
it
these.
is so satisfying.
Oh my god.
I am not sure who came up with the strat, but it's very
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah, super clean barring that one hit.
And like it's so easy to, even when doing that clean damage cycle on Moloch, it's so easy to just get hit by infection goop anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see like very little damage taken. Especially since that can screw up your rhythm on doing that damage cycle.
Yeah. The large spit attack where Moloch will send a bunch of infection blobs at you is entirely RNG, and you can't really do much about it. You can very, very quickly react, but in most cases, it's better to just take the damage, eat it face first, and then keep doing the damage cycle because you also get to dodge one claw slash for free after from the iframes. You just get the iframe through the slash, as we're gonna
As we
see
see
Thundar
Thundar
right here.
do that
Exactly.
exact thing. And it's like it's interesting. Some runners like Thundar tend to hug Moloch and hope to not take damage from that attack. And if they do, just utilize those iframes. Mr. Sir opts to pogo on top of Moloch, which I believe loses a little bit of time, but it means that he's avoiding taking damage.
Yeah.
Which can, if your goal is consistency, if your goal is continuing to get out of Moloch with your life and with your HP, this is definitely the way to go.
Exactly. We see some parallels between runners exactly right here as well. Two people on Moloch at the same time with different fight styles.
Yeah.
This is one of the benefits of being able to watch races because you just see different people doing different things and it's amazing. Though we do see Mr. Sir taking that reset. Gonna try to go for a little faster time, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite happy with that Moloch exit.
But yeah, seeing different runners do different strats, it's really beneficial to watch other runners because then if one strat works really well for one person, it might not work really well for you. And you might have a different goal. You know, if your goal is survivability, if your goal is the absolute most optimal thing at all costs, it's all different. Different mindsets to take. Even in KP, how the different runners handle falling through the breaking floor. I think a lot of them opt to just land on the higher platform to avoid the hard fall. I think some might just go with pure RNG and hope to like press right until they get the soft fall, which can happen. I know some people jump to avoid the hard fall. Like there's a lot of different ways to do something that is like seemingly very minimal, but in a very short category like this, very important.
Ooh. In Sloria, going through, almost got a really, really good Ruz cleanup into Sly split, Sly saved split, but just barely getting hit before going into the door.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, like frames off.
You
But
really do
not a
hate to
bad
see it.
time. Not a bad time. We'll see if we can beat the 747 and even the 746 that Marcus put on the board earlier.
Hopefully, Solorant doesn't struggle with that Venge Fly that we saw Masso have to take a reset to earlier.
Yeah. There's still plenty that can make you take some damage, make you take a hit.
For
Those
sure.
Aspids definitely one of those things.
Oh,
This
that Venge
Vengefly as
Fly,
well.
tempting fate.
Yeah, not
Oh,
being very nice. Gonna be put
no.
on the naughty list this year, and we're
And
gonna get to Blast Grub.
this, I hate this husk.
Yeah, Huskard was. Let's see if we can get the damage list pogos.
Oh,
Nice.
yes.
Barely.
Very clean. That's that's definitely a moment where it's very easy to just tense up and miss your basic inputs. So Florent handled
Yeah.
all of that very well on 1 HP. I'm sure he's quite used to it, but um still very impressive.
Yeah, and we'll see if this ends up. I think it is 746 pace. We'll see if it's faster than Marcus's time from earlier. I can go pick that up real quick. Yeah, Marcus with a 746.82. We'll see if Laura's time is a bit faster than that. Right now, it's looking to be on pace to be very slightly, just barely faster. And if it is, we'll have to break out those hundredths,
We were
tenths and the hundredths.
talking earlier about picking up the mask shards and jumping into them at the right time. It looks like Slorent uses a nail slash to know his timing into jumping.
Yeah, seems pretty standard across most of these runners to be doing that
Yeah.
nail slash.
Anything to help with the timing.
Yeah, and what is this going to be? It is a 46.14. That's a new record within the LTA. It's new.
Very, very wonderful performance from Slorent.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. And you have to think, what could it have been without that one hit into the door at Sly? So there's just so many things that go into it. So many things that still, a couple things that could have been faster still. And maybe that's what you need to grind for. That's what everyone goes through to try to get these 745, 744 times. So we see everyone going back into runs. Slower taking a little bit of a break, it looks like. Never mind, we're going straight back into runs.
Let's go. Marcus switching up the strats that he's been using on that Gome. He was going for the turnaround, but I think he opted for the safer move of landing on the higher platform.
Yeah, alright. Marcus, the only one super far into a run right now, post Malik. Mr. Sir trying to get up to that point right now. Marcus also post first Mask Shard, so we'll see how this ends up going. Excuse me. Everyone else in either KP or Dirtmouth. See how
Optimal jumping through Dirtmouth, my favorite part of every run.
Dirtmouth hops. Gotta love the Dirtmouth hops. See how this Gruzmom goes. How the cleanup goes. I believe
Yes.
it is slightly faster, better if you can get not Malik, Gruzmom into a corner for the cleanup. Like this. This is pretty good. Because you can just keep the Gruzzers in the corner and wail on them. So we'll see if we can get a good cleanup here. Ooh, that looks pretty good.
Took a hit,
No,
but
there's
oh,
one
the
straggler.
straggler.
It's not bad, but
Gosh. Not bad though.
one
Handled very
straggler.
well.
Playing it very close.
Marcus was confident walking into
Yeah,
Sly's little hut there.
confident going in there. And you have to think though, you have to notice Marcus on 1 health. That's not going to be enough to be able to take this damage tank.
Oh, you're right. Good call. How will
Let's see.
he handle this?
Just
Taking
gonna
a
take a
heal
heal.
and then damage tank.
That makes sense. We're back. We're immediately back down to 1. And this is what happens when you run 4 Mask Shards. Is you're on 1 health for most of the time.
Yeah, I am
Alright.
not sure. I am not sure if opting to heal and then take that damage is faster than walking out of the room. I don't know enough about the category, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
definitely
missing it. Oh,
close.
it stings when you just miss a jump. It's
Yeah. It just stings when you it's normal movement. It's not even a boss fight. It's not complicated. It's just missing a jump. So we do get
right.
that pogo. We see a mouse quit out there from Marcus.
I believe all of our runners have showcased that they are mouse quit out the
Aficionados.
aficionados. I don't know if that was the word I was going for, but it is a
It is
probably better
now.
word. It is a better word than I was.
Alright.
I think we've seen mouse quit outs from everyone. I am not fully sure. I am not sure because some, especially controller runners, if you don't actively have a like keyboard and mouse right beside you, a lot of some controller runners tend to not do mouse quit outs, but in such a short and optimized run, it's saving those milliseconds of time save in your quit outs can make a significant difference.
Absolutely. And it looks like Slor. I'm not sure if Slor uses controller or keyboard. I would think he uses keyboard.
I think when he was practicing earlier, I could hear a keyboard, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
assume keyboard.
Yeah, assuming keyboard, that means that we have 4 keyboard runners and then Maso playing on controller, which is interesting to think about.
It's worth noting that Hollow Knight, it is like it's negligible, the difference between keyboard and controller.
Yeah.
Keyboard is like ever so slightly better for certain situations and certain tech. And it's a little more ergonomic depending on your bindings. But there's a fairly even split in the Hollow Knight speedrunning community between keyboard and controller. I think nowadays we're getting more keyboard people, but uh, it's still pretty negligible.
Yeah, the difference is very, very small until you get to that very top level speedrunning for Hollow Knight, and
Yes.
then you do start to see keyboard with the slightest advantages over controller.
Yeah.
You definitely can still be a top runner on controller, but more and more
Absolutely.
people are opting to play on keyboard.
I think a lot of top runners are opting for keyboard as well for the ergonomics. You can definitely get in the habit of death gripping your controller. Also, chat confirming that Slor is on keyboard. So,
So 4-1.
Masso is our only controller person.
Only
But
person at past Moloch right now as well going into the
uh, those
yeah.
Gruzzers are brutal today.
Ruzzer's not being very nice there. Oh, jeez. And Moloch not being very nice for Slor as well, almost taking a hit for
Oh.
to death. Never mind, I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said anything. That's like the 4th time today.
I've cursed plenty of things happening today. I think I've cursed all of the Gruzzer RNG, so
Hmm.
if you've taken the Moloch deaths and I've taken the Gruzzer RNG.
Yeah, I think that's a fair split.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the runner, but it's a fair split between the two of
it's
us.
it's a brutal category and these runners are very familiar with what it takes.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, it doesn't look like we have anyone super late. We do have Mr. Sir going into Aspid Arena about halfway through the run. And yeah, you have to think about that. Halfway through the run is when you go into Aspid Arena.
Yeah.
And
Not
especially on we're playing on 1.4 plus on 1221, that Aspid Arena is not easy. And having that halfway through a run is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, 1432 is luckily a lot more forgiving in terms of that arena.
Yeah. Much easier, but also slightly RNG. You can have RNG patterns that make it pretty much impossible to get the
Ooh, Mr. Sir close to his previous time from this event.
looking to possibly build on that 754 that he has right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And yeah, it looks like everyone else either KP, Dirtmouth, mid reset, Thundar just barely getting into Crossroads there. And this is when you start thinking, do I just keep going in runs? Because you only have just over half an hour left at this point. You've already been going for an hour and a half. It doesn't feel like an hour and a half even.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think about those sorts of things because even thinking of full runs, even using that one last run, the final call that you get after that timer runs out, if you have any run going at that point, you get to keep
Oh,
going.
oh,
Yeah,
Gruzmother, brutal. That's
brutal.
that is the trade-off for doing those pogos is you can kind of get trapped between Gruzmom and the ceiling.
Yeah, and those are the choices that you have to make. Do you go for those slightly RNG but faster strats and risk it all for the biscuit? Or do you take the safeties and just finish runs or just get later in runs and hope for those times to go down as you keep running?
Let's see how this Moloch goes for Thundar. Already took a hit.
And there's a spit there.
Oh,
not
nice.
not taking any hits. Nice.
It's so nice when you can avoid damage on those.
Yeah, you only have so much health to work with.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna take a hit, the stray hit to that one though.
The an interesting quirk of
Ooh.
4 Mask Shards. Oh no.
Mm,
An interesting quirk of 4 Mask Shards is it's one of the only Hollow Knight speedrunning categories where you do in fact get more health. It just is at the very end of the run because that is the end condition.
yeah, the end condition being the extra health. And outside of completion categories, you really don't get that very often.
do
And
we
even
think
in here,
do we think hand tiredness is setting in? I would definitely think so.
yeah, especially for Masso playing on controller. On keyboard, that fatigue builds up a bit slower. On controller, the ergonomics, like we said earlier, that can be destructive at times. So I'd say Masso's probably getting to that point of starting to have the hand fatigue settling in.
They're an ask for world record in this category is 744 nothing. 744.00 by
By
Zweeble.
Zuko. Yep. We also have Slore with a 745.0. We do have a couple 7.3x's on the 1221 side, but for 1.4 plus, that's what we see.
Yeah, the 1221 world record is by TK3 738.
Yep. Yeah, but honestly, all of these runners are pretty solid contenders for that world record. Uh, of course, Slore being the most so, but even Marcus getting a PB today and at that 746 level, we could
And
see something.
yeah, Marcus having um like a lot of 1221 experience. You wonder how much that helps or hurt. I've only ever run latest patches, but I can't imagine it can be very disorienting.
Mm-hmm. Having the different physics, the different the minuscule differences, like your nail not hitting walls as easily.
Hmm.
There's just the tiniest things that feel barely off, and those are what can get you sometimes. You're
Hmm.
like, wait, that shouldn't be happening, and then you realize you're running on a different patch, and you have to get used to that. And I have to think Marcus is going through quite a bit of that right now.
Yeah. Even just like this little pogo off of spikes, pogoing spikes on 1221 creates quite a few like freeze frames, more freeze frames than it does on the later patches of the game. And that like is such a little difference, and it's so much of how we move through Hollow Knight, especially in this category. So I can imagine it must be disorienting.
Yeah,
Also wonder if he's clicking inventory in more places than uh we would. Just that muscle memory makes you
mm-hmm.
wonder.
Makes you
Um
wonder.
but one thing about like just how optimized this category has been throughout its history and everything. Um about 2 years ago, the about 2 years ago, we made an update to how live split works, interacts with current patch, um, that allows for more, like the load times are a little bit more generous. Um, and back when that was first implemented, Mr. Sir used that to get a world record, I believe, over DeBaby, which was world record at the time. And it was just very interesting that this little change in how we retime can make such a significant difference in a short category like this.
Yeah, I believe that was done to make quitouts a bit closer to what they are on 1221.
I believe so. I remember a lot of speedrunning guides at the time made notes for the differences between running on latest patches and running on 1221, and it would have things like on 1221, quit out here, and on current patch, no, walk back. Trust me, it's faster. And it
Yeah.
seemed so fake. It seemed so wrong, but now quit outs are slightly faster on latest patches, and it's been that way for quite a while now.
Yeah, Thundar taking a little safety pogos on Malik, but still just taking that last hit and taking a death to
Malik's
Malik.
brutal. I think Slorent got decent Gruzzer RNG. Let's see what Marcus's is here.
Let's see. In the corner, which is very, very much what you want to be seeing right now.
Yes. Do you know, like, what behavior causes Gruzmom to, like, when she pops, she just tends to fall anywhere? Do you know if there's any way to control that, Salwa?
I believe she falls backwards, but
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
It definitely appears as if she does, I think, from what I can remember from this. Thundar and Mr. Sir synced. Falling into
Yeah,
KP.
the perfect sync. Seen a couple of those today.
It's funny because you might see that in tournaments or race settings where runners will be synced up because they purposefully start at the same time, but these
Yeah,
runners are
starting at
all
the same
reset.
time.
They're all
Yeah,
resetting independently.
They're resetting and they're going on their own paces, and sometimes those own paces just sync up.
Very satisfying when it does. Gives a nice viewing experience for all of us watching.
Yeah. Looks like Slore coming up on the last couple splits here. Could be another 746 that we see right now. I don't think it'll be faster than the 746 point, I believe, 4 that he got earlier, but it could still be. It could still be the it could still beat the second place time right now that we have on the board. That would be interesting to see.
It's so cool that such a short category has so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
See.
Got that Mask Shard. It's gonna be a
If it
729 exit.
if it splits, he quits right out of there.
Exactly. Splits, he quits. And he's gonna go back, get the Mask Shard, and we'll see if that is a 746. I don't believe it is at this point, but
Well, yeah, I don't think so. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
Nice.
It's pretty solidly at 746 too. I think that does beat the 746.8 that Marcus had earlier. Marcus also heading out, finishing out the run right here. Doesn't look like quite gonna be a PB pace, but we'll see. You have to remember, Marcus started today with a 747 and did get a 746 during this event.
Very, very impressive. All right, what is that?
That's a 748, it looks like.
Still very impressive time.
Very
Any
solid.
7-4X is insanely solid.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen Slore, Masso, Marcus just punch out all of these 7-4Xs. And that's not a time that you just punch out in the middle of a 2-hour session.
No, like even if you can be grinding all day and like maybe it's because you reset too early, but it's pretty difficult to see that 7-4X. So shout outs to all of these runners. Salwa, do you remember the command to shout out runners in chat?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
There we go.
Check out all of the runners because they are all very skilled.
If you want to see fast, zoomy Hollow Knight gameplay, that's where you want to go. And yeah, Mr. Sir gonna be taking the reset there to the Vengefly Pogo into the grub. So you see a pretty good sync again between Mazzo and Marcus.
Our runners are just running on the same wavelength, I guess. Just have their eyes set on the prize of that sweet, sweet, sweet extra bit of health that they don't even get to use.
Mm-hmm. That sweet, sweet 6th health upgrade. And
Mm,
what good is 6th health? You can't even take an extra double damage hit.
no. No, 7 health is where things get spicy.
7 health, 9 health. Those are the big numbers that you're looking for. 11 if you include extra health. But that 6 isn't really going to do much other than make some things very, very slightly nicer.
I do believe the beta or demo for Hollow Knight had 4 health instead of 5, and I cannot imagine how punishing this game would have been if it operated onto 4 health at the beginning. Like
Yeah, I believe so.
there's double damage enemies in the first area, as we've been talking about the husk guarding the grub, um, and it's I truly cannot imagine.
Mm-hmm. We are pretty well
Whiffing the
into.
grub.
Hmm, we are pretty well into the last half hour, the last quarter of this event. Let's see if we can't. Let's see if we don't see any more 4X's, any more even PBs, even
Mm-hmm.
potentially from a couple of these runners here. World records.
Oh no,
We
Masso dunking in spikes twice on the way to
mm,
Malik.
yeah, just gonna take the reset.
Wise idea. And it is worth noting, as we've noted a couple times already, is these runners have been running this entire time. In addition to, some of them were getting some practice in before this event began. So hand
Hmm.
fatigue, mental fatigue, eye fatigue can all start to come into play. Um, it's not like, and this is true of long speedrunning categories. That was a nice cleanup from
Yeah,
Thundar.
it
Probably one of the
looked
better ones we've seen.
yeah, it looked
Ooh,
really good starting off, and then a couple stragglers just decided to go up, and
yeah.
it's not very good. Still, not slow by any means.
He handled it very well.
Yeah.
The um I mean it's worth noting in terms of the fatigue that uh for such a short category doing the same things repetitively can get a little more draining mentally and on your hands than your typical 2 hour long speed running session, because you're doing different things in longer speed runs. You only have to deal with dashless movement for the first 8 minutes of your gameplay, but these runners have been doing dashless movement this entire time. Ooh,
Yeah,
Thundar.
most runs get dash in the first 8 minutes. This run doesn't even get to 8 minutes. So
Yeah, exactly. Thundar scared me a little bit taking damage. Hopefully he
yeah,
doesn't get hit by that husk.
Husk guard up here. Nice, good photo,
Oh, whiff.
and getting that whipping it and then taking a death.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, because when you pause and unpause, there is a window of time where you can't repause, and I think that's just what he got hit by. He couldn't
Oh,
repause quick enough and
poor
got hit by
Thundar.
the.
That's rough.
Though at the same time, that still does cost a second, and he was behind, so I don't think it would have been faster than that 752. Though he's also comparing to, I believe, a 748. It's definitely possible that it still would have been faster than the
It
52.
it just it can hit you. It can just hit you mentally when a
Yeah,
unfortunate chain of events can happen.
yeah, unfortunate chain of events. On a personal record pace within the event, and this late into the event, that can hurt when you have a good run going and you only have, let's say, 20 minutes left, and you just lose a run to pausing too early.
I don't know if he paused too early or if he was not right enough when he hit the grub.
Yeah, either pause too early or slash too early, one of the two.
Yeah.
And that's what
Either
happens when you
way,
try to greet all of this.
a single input can alter uh can alter your run in 4 Mask Shards.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm sure our runners are feeling the pressure of the countdown timer too. I don't know how all of them are keeping track of it, but feeling those minutes tick down can definitely be intimidating. Slurret getting the free RNG softball is always nice to see.
Yeah, that clock's going tick tock, even more than it is when you're just speedrunning by yourself. You have that time limit. As we see a 56.4 KP from Slur. Wow.
Insane.
Yeah, that
Slurret is
timer.
ever so slightly cracked.
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly
It's
cracked.
7:45. Ever so slightly, you know.
Ever so slightly cracked.
Not that any of these runners are less so, but
All of these runners are ever so slightly cracked. If I
yeah.
call them more than ever so slightly cracked, I'm afraid I will comms curse them, so that's why.
Yeah. Call the Eldritch RNG random number gods on
Oh,
them.
Mr. Sir on a good pace. Let's see how
Yeah.
this Gruzmom cleanup goes. He might get an event, better time for this event.
Yeah.
Eh,
Ooh. Yeah, they're very spread out. Yeah,
they were not nice to
great.
him,
Not
but
great, but
still in a good uh position, I think.
good position. Good position to uh iterate on that 754.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can't get something faster than that. Mark is also going through Gomes right now. Yeah,
One
that.
thing One thing that Mr. Sir noted to me before the run is it's not here yet, but coming up. Now we're ever so slightly red, but he really dislikes his least favorite grub in the run is the one that is behind the wall with the aspids, which is
Mhm.
one of the grubs that you think is easier, but those aspids can be mean. It's so easy to slash too early.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was not very nice placement on the aspids, but makes it
Oh
work.
no!
Not ooh. See the surprise on his face. All right,
Oh,
pure
I'm
fear.
sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Sir. I feel like I have fault in here.
Yeah, we'll see what the timer says after this grub. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna be pretty solidly behind at
Yeah,
237, and
you hate to see it.
you have to start making the choices. Do you just reset? Do you reset on runs that are +2 at this point? Do you reset on runs that are +2 past Moloch? Because you need to get those
Yeah.
last runs in, and especially if you already have a fast time, you want to get a faster run to uh to climb even higher. It looks like Mr. Sir gonna at least finish this run out.
Honestly, it's a noble choice, and I don't knock him for it. Even if it's not the best for the sake of the competition, it might be the best. It might be the best in mindset wise for sure, which can help in the future runs.
Yeah.
And pretty all of our runners are pretty, other than Mr. Sir, are pretty early. Slorent is going into Moloch, but everyone pretty early.
Yeah, we'll see this finished run, and then we'll go back and watch all 5 of them on these last 16 minutes. We only have enough time for 2 more runs, and this timer's running real time. So finished runs, we really only have time for 2 more.
Yeah, and that is definitely a little scary, and it'll be interesting to see if our runners will opt for more resets at this moment.
Yeah, and we do see that 7:56 on Mr. Sir's screen. Definitely not a slow time. Definitely not a slow time, but it's not faster than the best he's gotten. It's not faster than the best that anyone else has gotten either.
The performance of these runners though has been so like so nice to see, and there's been so much more consistency than I honestly expected to see. Is Slor? I can never tell because his live split is blue. No, that was
Yeah,
a
just gonna be
reset.
quitting out.
Yeah.
It's a reset, instant reset. As soon as
Sorry,
we swap
Tim,
the screen.
for debating you. Um, as the screens are small, so it's hard to tell how people are doing on their live split. Marcus opting for quit out.
Yeah, you saw Marcus going for a little a tick tick pogo there, and
Mm-hmm.
just just not getting it in instant reset because
Masso
that
in the green, I
ooh,
think.
that's
Ooh,
in the
golded that.
gold.
Let's go.
All right, we have a run going right here on Massa's end, and that's gold. That's minus 1.6 to a 745.
And I think Masso said before stream started that uh like the PB that he was comparing against has like all of the time save at the end or something, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he was
If
conveying.
if that's the case, I'm looking forward to the rest of this run. So
Yeah.
yeah, that hard fall is going to eat a bit of that time, plus 7, plus 0.7 there.
Still, either way, this is like he's comparing against PB, not against the time from this event. So this will be very
Yeah,
interesting to watch. I'll keep an eye on the other runners as well.
yeah.
Uh,
Going to Aspid Arena here.
clean
We're
double
seeing
spike.
seeing a few resets from people. Thunder heading his way into Malik on 4 health.
Yes. And yes, pray for good Gomes and good Gruzmom cleanup for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stop commenting on Gruzmom cleanup, but
You know,
chat can
hey,
certainly pray for some good
yeah.
Gruzmom cleanup.
Thunder on 1 health on Malik as well. All right, going through the gomes here. Yeah, taking the safety of
Yep.
landing on that legend.
Ever
And
so
yeah, even
slightly in the
that.
red, but we could see a good Gruzmom cleanup. We could see some good things happen.
Yeah, we could see some good things happen. All the time save again at the end of the run, if we're to believe what Mazos said. And that's comparing to 745. We're talking about world record paces here. We're still going to be pretty solidly on pace unless something goes terribly wrong to beat the 749 that he has on the board right now.
Mm-hmm. And this is after we've had so many comments about hand fatigue and the fact that Masso is playing on controller
Yeah,
versus keyboard. Uh, I'm just impressed with this run in general, and I hope he is too. I think he said that his run had the time save at the end, but I hope I'm not misremembering. Okay, great, thank you.
okay, so we'll see.
Gross mom, please.
Okay,
That scared me a little bit. Take that a little slow, but the safety I think was needed.
yeah, the safety wins out. Still on 4 health,
All right, let's
and
get
we'll
a.
see. Oh, the stragglers.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not very good. That's
oh,
not
Gruz
very good.
mom,
That's not
why?
good for the prospects of this run.
Gruz mom, why? Oh, is that 2 seconds? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It's still on pace to beat that 749 though, and that's the important
yes,
thing in this event.
yes. Gruzmom being so rude to all of our runners today.
Yeah. And of course, we're saying these things. This is not a bad run
No, no, not
by
at
any
all.
means of the word.
And he's already saving time. Missy, this is time save he was talking about.
We'll see if we'll see if he can pull out something better than what Marcus or Slor have right now.
I know.
746.8, 746.4.
I'm very excited. Oh
Oh
no!
no! Missing the grub 3 times. That one hurts.
Oh, that hurts.
That hurts so bad.
Oh my.
I think it's still on pace to beat that 749, but not enough anymore for the 746 or for even for a PB.
That is tragic. Getting
These
the
are the
4 cycle on the grub.
These are the things that happen under pressure. You miss the slashes on the grubs as we're heading right into the last 10 minutes. You will only have enough time to start and finish one run and maybe start another.
Wow. Still uh huge respect to Masso for this run. This is a
Absolutely.
very impressive run, especially under such pressure. That we can blame it on Gruzmom. Gruzmom probably got in his head. I blame it all on Gruzmom.
Blame the Gruzmom. It's always Gruzmom.
It's
Even when you
always
save time,
Gruzmom.
it's always Gruzmom. It's
Even if
always
you save
Gruzmom.
time, it's always Gruzmom. Even if you have to reset before Gruzmom, it's Gruzmom's fault.
Yeah, Gruzmom has telekinetic abilities to hinder your run in the early splits, and then you have to fight her at the end. So does look like we are going to get a slightly faster time than that 749 though.
And that is what is important for this competition. Oh, and the timer is at 9 minutes, so our runners are got to be really strategic about their resets.
Yeah.
If they're behind at all, will they just reset? What will happen?
Oh, we are going to see a 749.41. Okay.
Okay.
Not
Do you
quite a
know
748.
48? Did we have his time written down in
Yeah.
milliseconds?
749.46. So it is faster than that run.
Nice. Huge GG's to Masso. So we see
49.41.
Marcus and Slorent in Malik. Well, Marcus just took care of Malik.
Mm-hmm. Floor still in the fight. Not getting as much damage as he probably wants right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and taking
Oh,
that hit. I think that's just a reset.
probably at this
If
point
I
in the
were Slor,
competition.
746 PB or that you're going against 8 minutes left, I would reset at this point. But he's going to keep going.
Looks like it.
Or at least see what the split time is. Still at 259. Marcus, on the other hand, going down, getting the grub. Yeah, we will see a reset from Slor.
Completely fair play. And we reach the KP People Arrive part of our programming today.
Yep, we have total of 3 people, soon to be 4,
in King's
Mr.
Pass.
Sir
Made
leaving
it
Slor and
into
going in. Seeing plenty of King's Pass today.
I bet no one ever thought that Forgotten Crossroads could be so exciting.
Exactly. I think this is the most King's Pass we've seen in any Hollow Knight community event ever.
So King's Pass fans, this is the event for you.
Very much so. We're seeing plenty of resets as we see Thunder taking a death there.
Oh, it's rough. I bet a lot of the runners are going to be taking everything aggressively.
Yeah, you have to. You have to get these 746 or even faster times.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 6.5 minutes left before final call here. Ooh, Marcus falling all the way down. Don't want to be
Oh,
seeing that. That loses a good chunk of time, a second or two.
it's also worth noting the runners that have like 746s here. One, Marcus got a PB with that time. And two, out of the runners playing today, Slorent, now Marcus, and Masso are the only ones that have had a 746. Thundar, Mr. Sir, um, did not have never gotten a 746, which like it would be a excellent PB for both of them. But it's just like
Yeah,
worth noting the level of the gameplay we've seen today.
yeah. All of them capable, at the very least, of a 746. Just not something that that Thundar or
Grossmom
Mrs.
hasn't been
Sir have
letting
gotten.
them.
Yeah, Grosmom's
It's
just not been letting them. Just bad RNG the entire run, you know?
also some Moloch bullying as well. Just
Yeah,
I've
so you
seen
see
a lot of instances of like what just happened to Mr. Sir. You
getting to all
could
1 health though.
you could hug Moloch and you could avoid getting hit there, but sometimes it's just RNG and you get hit anyway.
Yeah. Moloch probably honestly one the biggest or the second biggest RNG point in the run with Moloch as with Moloch and Grezmon
Mm-hmm.
being up there, especially with Grez cleanup.
Gruz cleanup is brutal.
Yeah, we are heading into the last 5 minutes. Now you have to think, do you finish? This is where you start to think as Mr. Sir misses the grub before the acid dunk. Do you keep going with a run that's +0, +1 to what you've had in the event so far? If if you're 4 minutes in, do you reset that or do you keep going and
Mm-hmm.
hope to save time in the second half of the run?
And yes, it's worth noting that like now that we are at like 4 minutes on the timer, that's obviously not enough time to complete a run of 4 mask shards. Um, However, when the timer hits 0, the runners will no longer be able to reset, but they can finish out the runs that they are on.
Yep.
For anyone who wasn't here at the beginning when we explained that, so that's why we're gonna see some resets from runners. That's why everyone is having a
Everyone.
KP party. Um, and I had more to say.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget what you wanted to say.
Sometimes.
You just talk about KP more.
KP. We should obviously name more than just the Venturialize in KP. We should name the crawlids that you walk past as well. I think that's very important sense of community. As Silk Song keeps drifting, I would say closer, but I think it's truly further away. We just have to name every enemy in the game at this point.
Yeah. Taking suggestions for the first crawlid in the between the two doors that you see at the very beginning. My choice is Tom.
Tom. Okay, okay. I do like Tom. Solid name.
All right, so we're seeing a few more resets here. Slower heading into Crossroads. Masso getting the first grab, a little behind of PB still. Yeah, and this is the point. The fatigue has already set in plenty ago, and
Yeah.
you're just fighting that. You're fighting the fatigue. You're fighting the anxiety of being only 2.5 minutes left to get a run started. You have to you have to make those decisions very very quickly at this point as to whether
And
you want
it's
to keep going or reset.
and it's not like resets don't take any time either. This is Hollow Knight, which is a very graphically beautiful game. I started playing Hollow Knight for the art, but oh, Slurrent hitting the spikes, taking the reset, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hollow Knight's a beautiful game, but because of it, the UI has this fancy way of taking a long time to load. So resetting takes time. Um, so it's it calls into question, where is the time save in your run? Is it at the beginning? Is it at the end? Where is it worthwhile to reset? And as we're getting into the final minute, are these going to be the last runs that start today?
Yeah, we could. It's possible that we don't see any more resets. It's possible that we get some last minute uh, throwaway tries to get that
I,
faster time.
yeah, at this point, if we see a reset, is it a KP reset? Is it just to a death? What is the
Yeah,
point to not miss that cutoff?
yeah. Do you take a reset to being at 1 health on Moloch early on? And yeah, I
Oh,
think Mr. Sir
Mr. Sir
exactly on that in that
on that
situation.
verge.
And
And
yeah, going to take that death and going to be a reset as we're heading to the final minute before final
and
call
now,
here.
and now we're at the you can only reset if you're gonna reset, you gotta do it now.
You got to do it now. We're at the point of no return. You have to make a decision.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much time it takes to reset runs of Hollow Knight. I've
Yeah.
never pushed that to its limit, but
Yeah.
um
At least a couple
oh wait,
seconds.
Mr.
Mr.
Sir
Sir.
loading into a God Home file.
Yeah, I think he might just be done.
That
Not
is
sure.
totally fine. If he shows off some bosses and appreciates having full movement and spells, good for him. He had an
Good for
excellent
him.
performance today. He also might have thought that time had already expired,
Yeah.
so. Huge GGs, Mr. Sir. You did excellent.
All right. And yeah, and there goes that timer.
Yep. So all of
And
these
we are
runners, they're
in.
stuck on this run, and Masso just making it in.
Yeah, just barely making it. And we see the timer counting up now, but yeah. Last
Oh
call,
wait,
and yeah,
Slorent
Slor's done. Gonna take that reset, and we
has
can't
any
start any
message
more
gone out
runs.
to the runners? Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, Slor going to take that reset. But he does finish right now. Has the fastest time
Huge
of the five.
GGs to Slorent.
Yeah, big GGs to Slor, big GGs to Mr. Sir, already done as well. Thundar and Maso Marcus each on their final runs. We'll see if they can't get anything good going. Thundar beating Malik, Marcus not far behind, Maso on the way out of KP right now. 57-13 KP, not bad. All right. Yeah, and this is the last time you're gonna be. That's the last time you're gonna be seeing KP today. So say your goodbyes to KP. Say your goodbyes to Elderbug.
No more
As we
KP
get
Peepo arrive. We are now in the KP Peepo leave era.
KP Peepo leaving KP, leaving Malik, leaving everything behind. You have
Everything
nothing to
as we've
lose at
known
this
it.
point.
There is only one thing in our way, and boy is it Gruzmom.
Boy, is it Gruzmom. The one constant, the variable constant that's going to be sending all the RNG at you. Gruzmom, the true antagonist of Hollow Knight.
Oh no, wait,
Ooh,
Thunder, don't lose
that's
this.
doable. He
Okay,
still gets the
okay.
bench fly, and
That's
still
good,
gonna
that's
make the
good.
cycle. Okay, we're still good.
Oh
Not
man.
quite what you want to be seeing, but
I would
doesn't
be
lose any
gripping
time.
my controller.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen and non-ladies and gentlemen, do not grip your keyboard. It would hurt.
Yeah, it would hurt, and it's probably not a good idea. It's probably not good for the keyboard as well. Yeah, Mark is gonna be getting that Mask Shard. Maso just heading into Malek. See what these runners can pull off.
I'm at the edge of my seat watching them.
Yeah. This is just exciting just watching the last few finish
Mhm.
off. Grip your monitor instead. You know, that's almost the worst idea. And yeah, Maso gonna be taking that death, and
Oh, Masso.
that
That's
is
it for
it.
Masso.
That's it for
GG
Maso.
Masso.
GG's 749 finish.
Very, very, very impressive.
Yeah. Have Thundar and Marcus both going into Gruzmom here. We'll see what they can do. Oh, Gruzmom goes up for Marcus.
Ooh,
Not getting much
nasty.
damage in.
Okay, let's see. Let's see the Gruzzers.
Let's see the cleanup. Let's see if Gruzmom finally plays nice.
Oh,
Yeah, not. Yeah,
the stragglers. All right, for
stragglers.
Marcus, I believe. Oh,
Oh,
they
that's very spread out.
separated. Oh, they
Yeah.
separated so early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is the reminder to
finish off.
everyone. This is the reminder to everyone. Gruzmom is the enemy.
Rename the game from Hollow Knight to Gruzmother.
Yeah, Gruzmom is the true final boss.
Welcome to Gruzmother community, where we're doing 4 Mask Shards. Alright. And both Thundar and Marcus these are the last runs that we're gonna see. Marcus gets the inventory drop, Thundar deciding he's done.
Yep.
GG's Thundar.
GG's Thundar.
And yeah, Mark is the only one finishing off, but I don't know if this is going to be the 746.
It doesn't. I see
see.
red on the live split, so I don't know. I don't know if he has time save at the end here.
Yeah.
Honestly, respect for finishing off the run. What a great end to a great day with a PB for Marcus.
With a PB, a new top 3, I think, run. New top 4.
believe so. Top 4,
New
yeah.
top 4, but yeah, still.
Oh, really?
Okay, so grub, and that was a gold on the last grub too, so
Very nice.
good to
I
see.
love seeing golds.
Yeah, just has to collect the grub rewards, get the Mask Shard, and that'll be it.
And everyone, as we reach Grubfather, be sure to wave to those grubs. We love the grubs, but this is the last time we're seeing them in this event, as Grubfather showers us with money and our ever so important Mask Shard.
All right, 4 throws, 4 geos. Yeah, this was such a fun day of runs to watch and commentate.
Yes, and thank you, Sawa, for putting this together.
Yeah, absolutely, so much fun. Getting all this together, all the 4 Mask Shards runners all together to run today. 5, unfortunately, we had one person drop out, but 5 runners all going for good times. And yeah, that is going to be a high 7-4x.
GG's to Marcus. That is still insanely
Yeah,
impressive.
it's a feat still.
For sure. Are we bringing runners in for anything after here, or?
Yes, we will be doing brief interviews. It's going to be a party since there's 5 of them, but
Chat, if you have any questions for our runners, be sure to put those in the chat so that they
yeah.
can see them.
Yeah, feel free to get everyone pulled in. Yeah, this is the first time we've done anything in terms of LTA for Hollow Knight, and I think it went very, very well for what it was.
Yeah.
All right, welcome on in, everyone. GG's on all the runs today. The 2 hours plus alpha of 4 Mask Shards.
GG.
GG's.
GG's.
GG, everyone. You all.
Mr.
You
Sir
all.
joined waiting. Oh, wait. there he is.
Oh, everyone.
Alright.
Everyone
Everyone is here.
everyone is here. Huge GGs to all of the runners. That was very, very entertaining to watch. Very good gameplay. So just GGs all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anyone in chat, we have a question from chat. We'd love to hear how the runners feel about the format. How was it running 4 Mask Shards in a live time attack event? How was that? Since I know that that's never been a thing before in the Hollow Knight community.
It was fun only because I did well. I don't know if
Mhm.
how fun it would have been if I didn't do well.
Mhm.
I'll say that it felt a little long for me. Like 4MS is a really draining category for me to run, and
Mhm.
like from the 45-minute mark to the hour 45-minute mark, I really didn't feel like I was making much progress.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, it's definitely, I prefer it to just a race.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, especially for a category as volatile as 4MS, and also that's like pretty short. It's nice for sure. It's a bit long for me because I don't have much
Mhm.
enough energy to play well for 2 hours in a row. But honestly, I feel like I kind of got a a little bit of a second win towards the end and pulled out another couple 4Xs, which was kind of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I did feel like I
definitely.
got a
Yeah.
second win near the end as well.
hmm More
How-
of a marathon than a sprint in as it is usually in 4 Mask Shards.
Yeah, how did everyone do in terms of like hand fatigue and mental fatigue? Because yeah, this is a draining category, especially on your hands.
Yeah, definitely feeling the hand fatigue for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Saw a
not
couple people. Yeah.
not really noticing anything for my hands. I don't know. This category actually isn't that draining. Like it's not that bad for my hands. There are much worse categories for my hands. Mainly anything with wings movement
Wings movement
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
or just wall jumps in general. Like this can't compare at all to any percent C peak. That's like not even close.
Totally fair.
Because there's a lot of dead time
Hmm.
in this category. So you kind of get to do stretches, and you have like the when you're resetting, you have a bit of like room to just do some stretches and chill a little.
Yeah, that was one thing about the LTA format is usually I'll like let the cutscenes run for a little bit between resets when I'm running 4 Mask Shards or really any category. But obviously here I didn't do that because we have a real time limit. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
There
No,
was
that makes a lot of sense.
one time where I let it run for a little bit, only because I was basically grabbing a towel, soaking it with cold water, and then soaking my face just to sort of
Mm-hmm.
refresh myself.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely breaks and whatnot does definitely it's strategy and
But
it
I will
does
say I
eat into that
ran.
time.
I ran to do that, and
Yeah.
like it felt good. So
It's
Mhm.
the reason the cutscenes are there. I swear.
Exactly.
The cutscenes aren't there to be watched. They're there so that you can do things during them.
Yes, yes. Team Cherry intended for us to put the cutscenes, set them to Chinese, and for us to not understand Chinese, and to go get a towel.
Though honestly, how long it takes compared to 1221 to reset bothers
Oh
me.
yes.
Mhm.
It is one of the worst things about latest patches, and I say that as a huge latest patch fan.
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
like 4 times as long from the moment you hit the pause button to quit out to reset
Yeah.
until you get control of your character.
Does anyone have any more questions for the runners? Be sure to put those in chat.
I will say, I don't know if y'all noticed, one time I was minus 1.7 to my PB, and then I
Mhm.
crashed into a gome, and then I died to Grossmother, and I was so sad.
Yeah.
that's
There were
unfortunate. Yeah, I was
quite
ahead
a
of
few
PB.
good paces.
I was ahead of PB near the end as well, and then had a bad sly rescue, and then whiffed on the wall grub 3 times.
Yeah. Looked like minus 1.6 to 45.5. So
And I just want to let all of the runners know, Gruzmom was not kind to like any
yeah.
of you.
Yeah. I
She's
lost 2
never
PB
kind.
paces to clean up. Yep.
The
Gruzmom or the cleanup? There's a difference here.
Mainly the cleanup, but
Both?
sometimes there were definitely a few deaths to
Yeah.
Gruzmom
There were a
herself.
couple times that people got stuck in the corner and couldn't and just took the hit to finish it off
Mhm.
and yeah.
yeah,
That's
got
unfortunate.
Someone
One
from
question from chat. What categories are you going to see from the runners after this? Let's start from the bottom up. Thundar.
Cabber percent, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh
it's
wait, are we talking
Untitled.
about
Of
Hollow
course.
Knight?
I was about to say, of course, Goose Game Runner.
Yeah.
One of
Shout
these
out
things is
Thunder.
not the other.
Follow Thunder if you want to see Untitled Goose Game
Yeah.
speedruns.
Yes.
True.
True.
Uh,
Masso, what about you?
I might pick this back up. I've been thinking maybe I want to do a little more grinding of it, but I also might do Elegy percent because that's what I was
Ooh.
doing
Hmm.
before this started up. And
Very
I feel like
cool.
I have a lot of time saved there on my PB. I have a minute of like free time saved near the end.
Mhm.
Love a good meme category.
Love a good
Yeah.
meme category. So many of those to go around. Slore, what about you?
If I'm not doing 4 Mask Shards, I'm probably doing Rando, TBH.
perfectly fair and valid.
Yeah.
Rando is nice, comfy, or could be competitive.
I can
Yeah.
fully respect the rando decision.
Yeah, randos are infinite content, and what more could you need to wait out the time until Hollow Knight Silk Song comes out in the year 2023?
I
What
can't
about
wait for
Mr.
random
Sir?
object rando.
Random object rando. Mr. Sir, what about you?
Can't wait for Silk Song to come out before
Mhm.
June of 2023.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
been doing 1221 low percent for the last month
Mhm.
or so, but I think it's time to go back to LP any percent for my 34.
Ooh.
Going for a 34. That's exciting.
It's
Or,
a really
or
bad
not
choice.
34. It's certainly a choice. I will say that it's certainly a choice. It's a
Then
choice
again, Mr.
that
Sir,
it's a choice that I made.
yeah, you've had interesting choices when it comes to running categories. I'll say
Yeah.
that much.
See this race.
This
Mhm.
race, low percent.
Yeah.
And
Marcus?
Marcus.
I will keep. I will go back to grinding towards the 31 for 1221 any percent.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Nice.
And
Good
I,
luck
31.
with that.
I suppose after that, it's either all skills or true ending, whichever I feel like at the time.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what's next from main categories as well, and even after today, with the PB just going straight back to any percent.
Well, huge GGs to all of the runners and to Sawa. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Slorent had the edge in milliseconds today.
Yes, the 746.4 I think is the fastest time that we saw today. So GG's.
And GG to
0.14.
Marcus for the PB. GG's to all of you for all of your paces and all of your hard work. It was a wonder to see.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Thank you to the runners for running. Thank you to Nyx for being co-coms. It was absolutely amazing. It was a pleasure being able to com this event with you.
Absolutely a pleasure, and huge shout outs to Sawa for organizing this entire event, as well as jumping on as a commentator at the last minute, and even another huge shout out to Tim or Maginal in chat for the restreaming and switching between all of the racers. A lot to juggle there, and just huge respect to everyone involved today.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
thank you to, again,
Mhm.
comms, Nyx. I know you definitely did a little bit of studying on 4MS before this.
I did. I did some studying, and I also ran it a singular time this morning just so I could be like, okay, I can at least say how difficult this feels.
Yeah, so again, thank you for commentating and for organizing this
Mhm.
entire thing.
Thank you.
And again, thanks to Tim/Maginal for the restream.
And of course, thank you to everyone who watched.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wonderful
Don't-
event.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's going to be anything soon on Hollow Knight community, but there are talks of tournaments, so keep an eye out. Drop a follow if you want to be notified for those. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all in the next Hollow Knight community event.
See y'all.